Right now, there's not a cure. They are coming out with, hopefully soon. They've been really working on creating a medication that will actually remyelinate your nerves. So, again, more funding, more research, better medications. I'm not trying to push like, hey, you guys, raise a lot of money. I'm just trying to educate you guys on what MS is and the treatments available so you can.
How did you find out, like, what were your symptoms before you had it? And then you're like, oh man, I should probably go to the doctor for this.
Yeah, so my symptoms, I can remember the day and the time and everything. I was in the car with my mom on the way to the orthodontist to get my braces tightened. And I was just kind of feeling my hand. I was like, Mom, my fingers are feeling a little tingly. You know how when your foot falls asleep, they kind of tingle feeling? Yeah. That's what it was. I had that in my fingertips, and by the end of the day, it was in the entire front of my hand. And the next day, it was my whole arm, and the next day, it was my entire body. So imagine your foot being asleep, head to toe.
Whoa!
Yeah.
You fall down hard.
I didn't fall down. No.
She was not studying.
I was not steady. In fact, when I went to the hospital because my eyes actually started to jump. How many of you guys have seen that little old scrolling televisions? It's like you just keep seeing the same image, scrolling and scrolling and scrolling. That's what I was seeing because my eyes were jumping up and down. And so the doctors actually originally told me, oh, it's just teenage anxiety.
Are you serious?
That's what we said.
Yep, so we kind of went, no, we're not going to listen to you. And so we went to the emergency room, and they admitted me for a couple nights. They did a spinal tap, which they take fluid from your spinal cord.
Oh,
They took when I had surgery, they took fluid from my knee.
Yeah, so they did a spinal tap, and they kept me another night to observe me, just to see how I was doing. Everything went back to normal for a couple weeks. I was getting ready to go back to school, and I was almost out to the car. And again, I looked at my mom and I said, my lips feel really cold. It just feels really weird. And she said, okay, well, you should probably stay home today. And by that afternoon, I was back in the hospital. And I was on steroids for 5 days. I stayed in the hospital for 6 days. Again, my eyes were jumping. My skin was super sensitive. Like, I remember my grandma came and visited me. And of course, grandmas, they always want to give you a hug, rub you in the arm, be really, really snuggly. And I was like, Grandma, don't touch me. It hurts. Don't touch my skin. Because my skin was so sensitive that any kind of thing touching it hurt. Wow. And again, that got better. I was able to go, actually, this all goes back to my mom and thanking her. My mom was able to bring me to school for lunch a couple times a week so that I could get to know my friends. I could spend some time with them. I didn't get to go to class because those 30 minutes of lunch wore me out for the entire day. I would sleep until like 10 o'clock. We'd go to school for half an hour and I'd sleep the rest of the day. Obviously, I'm not doing that now. I'm a lot better now. But the scary thing about MS is that it could change like that. I could wake up tomorrow morning and not be able to move my legs. We actually had a friend who, wasn't he a surgeon? Mm-hmm. He was a surgeon. He has multiple sclerosis. He was in the middle of surgery and he went blind. Oh. And he looked at his partner and he said, yeah, you need to take over from here. I can't see what I'm doing. And it can happen that fast. And that's the scary part about this, is that you just don't know what will happen. What other questions are there? Yeah.
Did he get his vision back?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah, the symptoms can go in and out.
Except for primary progressive.
Except primary progressive. There's a few different types of MS. I have relapsing remitting, which means like, can I draw this? No. Okay, so relapsing remitting. I'm good for a while, and then all of a sudden, my symptoms are heightened. And then it's kind of like, oh, that's scary, and then I go back down to where I was. And then I'm good, and then I have another relapse, and then I go back down. So it's just about the same level. You have symptoms, they flare up, and you get better. For primary progressive, that means that you start here, and you just continuously, things just start to get worse. You never really get back down here. So there are some people that have primary progressive that symptoms don't go away.
And their medications that are out there to treat the MS that Emily's been talking about. Those medications do not work for primary progressive MS.
Yep.
So a lot of the research that's being done now is directly for the primary progressive because they need something. And that's where the dollars go for the walk, is that kind of research.
Take your question.
How blind did it get? Like literally, they just couldn't see anything.
Couldn't see anything.
It's like we were in college.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah.
What is like what is the percentage compared to like people who just like what you have, like it's just and then people who just keep getting worse with it?
85% of people have relapsed and remitting, which is what I have. And then I'm trying to remember the other three categories. I think it's 15% of those 85 go on to have secondary progressive, which is like you start with relapse remitting and then you go to primary progressive, but it's next. I don't remember how. I think it's 5% have primary progressive.
So it's like
It's a low percentage
okay.
overall. Yeah. I'll take you and then you.
Did it go, like, when he was blind, did it go away the next day or in a couple hours?
I'm not sure.
Months. It can take months to
Yeah.
years before it comes back.
Wow.
Yep.
What are all the symptoms?
What are all the symptoms?
Yeah. Or
That
like,
is a loaded question. There are so many symptoms because if you think of your brain, you think of all the different parts of your brain, there's so many parts that can be affected. My symptoms, I can just give you a list of my symptoms. Fatigue, dizziness, eyes jumping, sensitive skin, headaches, double vision.
What is that?
Where you
So like
You
know, when you're
something,
like that.
chest pain,
Cold lips.
cold lips, yep.
Like pain.
What's cold
Leg
lips?
pain, difficulty
When your
walking.
lips are cold.
So it's a large, and something interesting about MS is that a lot of the symptoms are strengthened by heat. So as much as I love summer, I also don't like summer because there's so much heat that my symptoms go way up here.
Ouch, what if your skin's really sensitive and then you lay down on the pavement?
Oh,
That would be bad. Yeah, I haven't had sensitive skin in a long time, thankfully. Mostly just fatigue now. I'll take you and then
so I think earlier this year I was in Spanish class and my entire skin went numb, starting with like my pinky. And I went to the urgent care, or not urgent care, it was like a clinic.
yeah.
But he said it was probably just a pinched nerve, but he said the other option was like very unlikely, but it could be mental.
so how do you differentiate between just like tingling feeling or something that
Well, one thing that my neurologist has told me, if any new symptom comes up, he's like, if it lasts 48 hours, tell me. If it's just half an hour, then you might have just had your arm sitting in a weird position. So if it's 48 hours, then call the neurologist and he'll determine from there what to do. You have a question, then you.
What happens when any of these symptoms happens? Like, how do you stop them? Like, you have to wait it out. You have to go to
Pretty much just have to wait it out. When I was in the hospital, they put me on steroids to kind of cut down on the inflammation in my brain. But yeah, a lot of it is just kind of wait it out, talk to your neurologist, figure out, should I go on steroids? Should I just stay in bed? What should I do? So it depends, but mostly it's just wait it out. I saw a question in the back. Yeah.
Yeah, so, it was like a two-part question. Like, is there a certain amount of symptoms that, MS can have, or is it countless?
I'd say countless, just again, because if you have, here's your brain, very round brain. Think about drawing a dot and every single part, all of those little parts can be affected in different ways.
Okay, so my second question, how new is, multiple sclerosis, how much do we know about it?
What was the first part of your question?
How new, like, is it, a new disease that we're just learning about,
It's actually been around for decades, but more research has been done since about the 80s.
Richard Pryor had it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The 80s is about when the MRI machine came out, and so diagnosing MS was much easier. But if you talk with people that have had MS or know people with MS, they'll say, well, my mom, we thought she had it, or my grandmother may have had it, but they didn't have a good way of figuring out what it was back then. And so it's been around a long time.
I'm gonna go 1, 2, 3.
Is it deadly?
I was gonna say that. Hey.
It's
No.
a good question.
That is very good question. It is a lifelong disease as of now because we don't have a cure. But no, you cannot die directly from MS. MS can lead to more illnesses that you might die from, but you will not die directly from multiple sclerosis. Good question. You had a question?
Like, it can go away, can it go away?
It never goes away fully. You can go for years and years and years without any symptoms, but there's always that slight chance of having relapse.
And my other question was, can you go can you go brain dead for me?
I don't think so. No.
No. The central nervous system is what is affected. So any nerve that comes out of your brain, if you consider your brain the main, the motherboard of your computer, where everything is going on, and the brain is telling every other part of your body what to do. It's telling the lungs to breathe. It's telling the eyes to see, the hands to move. It's all of that stuff that your body does, sometimes without you even knowing it. And that's controlled by your nerves. All those wires coming out of your computer up there are being affected. So, yes, I suppose technically you could have trouble breathing. It doesn't, I don't
It
recall.
really depends on the part of your brain that's affected.
Yeah, it's where those lesions start to occur.
And actually, the more severe, if that's the right word, more severe symptoms that occur are usually when you have lesions in your spine. So I'm lucky, all my lesions are in my head. It's all in my head. But there are
You can
some
have them
people.
all over your body.
No. Well, just your central nervous system. So your brain and then your spine. You and then you.
Is there certain things that you can't, like certain medications that you can't take, or like, because if you're on blood pressure, you can't take Advil and stuff like that?
One thing that I definitely stay away from is energy drinks because there's a lot of vitamin B6, and I don't remember the whole science of it, but like your B6 can really heighten things, can make your, I don't remember exactly how to explain it, but I know vitamin B6 is not really a good thing to go for.
Otherwise,
For everyone, or for just people with MS?
For people with MS specifically.
B6 is good for you. Yeah, it's like.
Yeah.
and normal amounts are okay,
Yep.
but the energy drinks are
Like a 5-hour energy.
abnormal amounts.
Yeah. Good question.
So you're in remission right now?
Yep. And I can be in remission for years. I never really know. So.
Is that the scary part about it? Like,
Yeah. Because I'm graduating in a month, and right now I am a little bit behind in all my classes because my symptoms have been heightened. But I could fall way behind if I have a relapse tonight, because then I probably wouldn't really be able to go to school much in the next few weeks. So that's just from the school standpoint. But yeah, that is scary because it can happen at any point. You just don't know. You have a question?
How did you deal with not being able to go to school and see your friends, and then being behind in school? Do the teachers say you're gonna have a relapse, and then you're not able to go to school, and then what would happen? When would you just have a delayed graduation? Or,
That's a
how
good
would you-
question. I'm very fortunate. I have really, really caring and helpful teachers. As far as my 8th grade year went, as fate would have it, I